All right, guys, I'm here with my good friend, Jeremy Herider. Jeremy, thanks for having me in your home.
Thank you for coming, man. I
Really
missed
excited. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm really excited for is this our third podcast interview we've done
you.
together?
I think so. Yep.
So for those of you that don't know Jeremy, first of all, Optimal Self, you are a life coach, motivational coach, real estate coach, and it's really more than that. But I want to give a little bit of background on you. Professional baseball player,
Right.
CrossFit champion. You've taken multiple offices in the real estate here in California in the real estate world to huge levels of production. And we connected through a good friend of ours in Costa Rica, which was a lot of fun. We started talking about success and the principles of success. We've worked together. I actually hired you as a coach, and then I forced my business partner to hire you. He was like, I don't want to spend the money. I'm like, you're fucking hiring Jeremy because he's awesome and you need it. And we're actually talking about, as soon as we get the funds to allocate to that in our company, having you come in again to work with Betty Jo, Calvin, Lind, and myself.
Sure.
Because it's so important to have the positive input of a good coach. A great coach is really, really important. And someone with the enthusiasm, the life experience, the success that you've seen is really, really needed. We talked about coaching Little League. You know, I have a son starting T-ball.
Yeah.
And we got into some conversations about your kids, my kids, then my business partner's kids. And one thing that I've noticed about you is you have a really good perception on, what people need to improve. And what they definitely don't need is someone just harping on them. And so tell me about, if you want to go personal, your daughter and how you've helped motivate her by example, by being a professional baseball player, for being a CrossFit champion, taking your companies to massive levels of success. But also you were just there for her as a massively positive influence. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing in their lives is that person that says, you can do it. I'm not going to try and force you to do it. But man, I'm going to be your cheerleader and I'm going to be fucking there for you.
Yeah. So you're making a couple points and I think it's cool to tie it all together is that let's start with the boys and I'll get onto my daughter in a second and business is, so people think as a coach is that it's your job, even as a parent, to tell them what to do. Right.
Right.
And look, are there some things that we need to do? Can we create better habits? Can we put them in situations? The truth is, can we build an environment for that person to succeed in? Here's the thing. If, again, the team I coach right now, right, our little guy's 8 years old. And so we're on this travel team and, I used to do this for a living. And so I get to coach, which is, again, let me say that again. I get to coach. Right? I don't have to.
Right.
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 And I'm very fortunate and lucky that I just got chills right now because they're giving me an opportunity to give back. There's nothing greater in this world than to all the stuff that I've learned through the years to get to give that back. And at this point, it's usually with, people like you and guys that are going to pay me, right? Is now I get to do it at a really young age.
Yeah.
And one of the conversations I had with the parents is this, because they want to yell. So if a kid catches a ball, and those of you guys that are watching, if you don't know baseball, forgive me, and they throw it and it's low and it hits the dirt, right? Everybody wants to yell, you got to get your throw up. No shit. Captain Obvious, right? And I know it sounds right, but I don't have to yell. Do you think he knows that he needs to get the damn throw up?
Yeah.
You don't think he knows that he just made a shitty throw?
Yeah.
That the guy's going to be, of course he knows that.
Yep.
So my job is not to tell him to get his throw up. My job is to give him cues, to give him a better option, to make a better environment so that maybe he can make a better throw.
That's huge.
That's what I need to be able to do.
I love that.
And so, to go back to my daughter is, yes, she was 100 pounds overweight and you look at me or whatever, and I've never been that 100 pounds overweight. Never. right? I was always been an athlete. Once I got done playing baseball, I found CrossFit and it let me compete. And so I loved it, right? That competitive, which never leaves you, I don't think, if you have that. So it was a huge outlet for me. Yes, got to the CrossFit Games. Yes, won an event at the CrossFit Games, a deadlift box jump, was number 1 in the world, set the world record at the time. And I will say this about our kids. Yes, they were there and they cried and they high-fived and they loved to see their dad.
Mm-hmm.
But man, what they need more is just their dad.
Yeah.
Not that guy.
Yeah.
They don't need the CrossFit champion. They don't need the professional baseball player.
They don't need to hear, get that throw up.
They don't.
They need to hear, hey, don't worry about it. Here's what we can do.
This is what I do. You do what you do, you, baby. And I got you. Whatever you want, however you want to do it. To go back to what you said is that, and she did come to me at that point. And she finally said, I've had enough, Dad. Yes, I want, I know you know how to do this. So, and I told her, I said, look, I'm not going to be your motivator. I'm not going to be the person to call you and tell you to get your ass over here to work out.
Yep.
I'm never going to do that. Never. But if you call me and if you tell me you're coming and you show up, I can promise you this. We will get a great workout. You will learn what we're doing and I'll make sure you get a good meal because we'll go into the kitchen and we'll cook together.
That's awesome. And you just said something that I don't know if people heard. You don't have to tell your kids and force them to do something. What you have to do, and I'm fighting the urge of this because I am a control freak.
Yeah.
And I'm a fucking driver. I'm just like, fucking do this, do that, and this will work. And that's how I run the company.
It's true.
And sometimes you have to, but with kids, you really need them to learn. A good parent provides learning opportunities. I was at dinner, so I took my daughter out. She's 9 for a daddy-daughter date for Valentine's Day. We're at dinner and I was asking her, how's school? Oh, there's a bully. How's this? How's that? And she just, she's like, oh yeah, I get so frustrated and this. And we just talked about what she could do. And it was interesting watching her brain kind of figure out what she wanted to do about it.
Yeah.
I didn't say, go fucking punch that bully in the face. I wanted to.
Right.
I almost was like, go knock the shit out of that girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like if she's saying that shit to you and she's throwing rocks at you, you better, no. So I asked Heidi and she was like, well, no, I think I just need to tell a teacher. And then if she keeps doing, and so she had this whole formulated idea.
Right.
And if I had steamrolled her and told her to do this, and at home now, I'm asking her questions. Do you have homework tonight? I'm not like, do your fucking homework right now. That's old Sam. Now I'm like, hey, do you need help with your homework? Do you think you should probably get that done? Mm-hmm. Do you think you should do that before you go spend time on your iPad?
100%.
And she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go do that. And it's been an amazing situation. And now with my company, I got to take the next role, but take it to the next level there.
Sure.
Allow learning opportunities.
Learning opportunities. And it's what you said is exactly right, is we just have to ask better questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's not me to tell people what to do. Right. Even now, right? I get to coach $100 million producers. I ran a company that, we did 750 million,
awesome.
In volume. It's like, and I think back, it's like, how do you get there? Well, you ask great questions of the people. And again, what that does is it's the reticular activating system, the RAS, right?
Right.
If that is running at all times, we have to build our reticular activating system, right? And those of you that are listening, whatever, it's simply this. You said, hey, I'm going to go buy a red BMW. I can't wait. I'm going to buy a red BMW. You went, you even drove it. You didn't buy it that day. You leave there. And now everywhere you go, you see a red BMW.
Right.
That's the RAS working.
Yep.
Right? We can also program that in the ways that you're talking about. We can program it in ways that use it to our advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So I start programming that in. So I ask better questions, not even of our kids and of my employees and the people around me, but I start asking better questions of myself.
Yeah.
Well, what should I do?
Yep.
What does that guy do?
Yep.
You remember in one of ours that when we came down to, and I said, what do you want to do? I want to be $1 billion operator. I want this company to be $1 billion. I remember this to the T. I can still hear you saying it. I want to do $1 billion. I want to get there.
Yeah.
I said, great. So what's the question that I can ask myself in every single moment when should I do this or should I do that?
Would a $1 billion operator do?
What would $1 billion? That's all.
Yeah.
Because then the decision is so easy.
Yeah.
The decision actually jumps off the fucking page.
Right.
Because I go, what would $1 billion? Well, he sure as hell wouldn't do this.
Yep.
Because that's not getting me closer.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. And we make that move. Right?
Focusing on the right things. So that's really interesting you say that. And I want to hear your perspective as a professional athlete. Played in the MLB. My high school coach absolutely destroyed me mentally my senior year.
Okay.
He would lose his shit. And I was not amazing, but I was pretty good.
Sure.
I scored consistently sophomore, junior year.
Yeah.
And was one of the top scorers. And senior year, he just, every time I missed, he's screaming, yelling, losing his shit. And I got so focused on the things I was doing wrong and his reaction to them.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a meltdown. I stopped playing well and I stopped having fun in basketball. And so as a coach, I've been coaching my daughter's soccer and basketball. We just finished the basketball season. As a coach, my focus, and I'm going to talk about Jim Harbaugh in a second because I think he does the same thing. When a girl messes up, I'm coaching 9-year-old girls. And I actually got a lot of compliments from the parents. They're like, holy shit, you had them running plays at 9 years old. I'm like, yeah, because I make it fun.
Yep.
We name it crazy shit and we have it fun. And when they mess up, I immediately say, don't worry about it. Just do this next time. Don't worry about it. You're fine. No big deal. And you see all these girls, and there was one in particular that would get so down immediately. You could tell she's looking around, waiting to get yelled at. And I'd be like, who cares? You did great. You're doing so good every time. And by the end of the season, she was one of our top rebounders, one of our top scorers, and she thought she was garbage when she started the season. Yeah. When I saw Jim Harbaugh come to San Francisco, I don't know if you remember, San Francisco was struggling. The quarterback at the time was struggling. He was a starter, then he was not a starter. Alex Smith. Jim Harbaugh, every game would just start pounding his pads. And just you could tell he was pumping him up. Just, you're fucking awesome. Alex was the number 1 draft pick. He was a top producing quarterback if he had a good coach and a good system. And guess what happened? Took off.
Yeah.
And so when I saw Jim Harbaugh doing that, I was like, holy shit, that's the type of coach I want to be. Yeah. That's the type of person I respect, is someone that can build you up. And go back to what you were just talking about, the reticular activating system.
Yep.
Focusing on the right thing, not the get your throw up.
No.
Don't stop talking about focusing on the negative.
No. Focusing
on the positive and how do we improve? And I mean, that's a big part of your coaching, obviously. That's what we focused on.
Yep.
The biggest epiphany I had with your coaching was, Sam, give yourself permission to just get rid of the past year.
Yeah.
That was a tough fucking year.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
But it's over.
It's done.
And I was like, holy shit. Like, I can do it for the kids I coach. I can do it for other people, but I couldn't do it for myself.
That's right.
And that was huge.
That happens a lot to us, to be honest with you. Because that's what I was going to say right now. It's the same thing. Is that when we start to understand it, and we start to deliver it, that's the beauty of it. The beauty of it is, that's one of the things that I want people to get, is because if we can start to do it, then we can start to do it for ourselves. Because that's another thing. We beat ourselves up.
Yep.
I mean, almost more than that. Because I can tell you right now, that coach that was yelling at you, that was their answer, right? Is to get louder and get whatever, is that person is really dealing with some stuff. And I'm not saying at times to not be aggressive or not to be, like firm on things. That's not my point. But my point is this, is that if that's all I am, where can I go?
And it wasn't like I wasn't running the right plays or I wasn't listening to him. I would miss a shot. I can't make every shot. Holy shit.
And you're still not going to make every shot. You're still not going to, there's probably a deal that came through that you didn't like, that actually somebody bought and turned out to be a good deal. And you were like, yeah, okay, wasn't good for us at the time. Yeah. We didn't make that shot. It's okay.
Right.
Fuck, it's okay. Yeah. The thing is, we get so down on ourselves and then we take it out on others, right? Because a coach, for instance, especially in high school athletics, college athletics, even pro athletics, when you get to the highest level, is their job is based on winning. So if they're not winning, right? So if an athlete does something that's going to cause that, you know, is not producing the result I want, right? How do I handle that? But it goes back to this, is that a good coach is always going, it's about the cues that we give. It's getting to the cues. Because again, if I gave you a cue, if I give a cue to a kid and he still does it wrong, I can still give the same cue over and over and over and over, and he's going to get it wrong over and over and over. My job is to figure out what is a better cue.
Yeah.
What is a better thing for them to understand? And just like you said, if the play doesn't happen or the play goes wrong or they make a mistake, mine with anybody is like, so what?
Yeah.
Can we learn from it? Yeah. Okay. What can we do better? Right.
Yep.
One of my favorites, and I had a dad come over to me and say, I heard you with my kid. And I was like, oh no. Right. But so his kid strikes out.
Yeah.
And he comes off, and as he's coming off, he's like, and he starts crying. I said, we're not crying over that. And he's crying.
Yeah.
And so I got down to his level. And I looked at him. I said, okay, buddy, look at me. I just got two questions for you. Are you mad or are you sad? Tell me which one you are. If you're mad, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you're mad.
Yeah.
Get upset. Get pissed off. Right? Do it. Feel it. I want you to feel what that feels like.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to ask you, what can you do different? What can you do different next time so that this feeling right here you don't have?
Right.
If you're sad, get over it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to be sad. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Right? You struck out. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, but you know, you're going to strike out probably about 10,000 more times if you keep playing this game.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen. But okay, so which it goes back. I do the same thing with my business, with people in business. And then even for myself, like I get in these ruts, man. I'm not fucking perfect. I have bad days. I mean, right now I'm in the midst of building again, right?
Yeah.
And my expectation of myself is so fucking high that my patience with myself is so thin.
Right.
And again, my coach, because you can't be a damn coach if you don't have a coach.
Right.
That's my feeling.
Yeah.
Again, so if your coach doesn't have a coach, you probably need a new coach.
Right.
Because they don't believe in what they're doing anyways. They're just trying to sell you something.
Yep.
I'm not here to sell you shit. If you don't get it, if we're not getting a result, if you're not getting better, then I'm not doing my job. And I got somebody to keep me honest on my shit and help me with my shit too.
Right.
Because there's no other way around it. But we have to be able, again, like you said, the thing that I love what you said earlier is that when you give it to those little girls and you ask them great questions, and then all of a sudden they start to meld. And I mean, you're the only 9-year-old team out there actually running plays. They're like, holy cow, this is crazy. Yeah, because one, we make it fun, we make it interesting, and we're not beating them up every single time they make a damn mistake.
Right.
But are those of you out there listening, like you all, if you're watching this podcast, it's because you want to be successful in business and you want more. Where are you just beating the shit out of yourself?
I got to improve on that.
Not giving yourself some grace. You do. I know you do.
Yeah.
I love you. Yeah. And we worked together for a while. And again, it's the thing that makes you great because you do have high standards and you want to go get it. It is the thing that makes you great. It is the thing that made you a multi-million-dollar producer that you could, you know, in a few hours a day, build a $1.2 million cash business.
Yep.
It's what makes you great.
But it gets in the way.
It's also what keeps you from going from 1.2 to 5.
Neil Weichel and I talked about that today. His coach told him the same thing. He's like, Neil, you get way too emotionally invested. You get too attached to the outcome.
Right.
And, you know, it's funny, in high school, I had a really great coach, sophomore and junior year. He'd call me over and he'd yell at me and be like, stop getting down on yourself, damn it. He's like, you're awesome.
Yeah.
Stop feeling bad.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit if you missed a shot? He was the best coach I could have ever dreamed for.
Sure.
And you brought up a really good point. I get really down on myself naturally.
Yep.
I have really high standards. And, you know, I mean, you and I, when we coached together, we talked about a lot of things, breathing, looking at my next day, the night before, which I do religiously now.
Yep.
lemon water and Himalayan sea salt in the morning, hydrating your brain so you feel good.
That's right.
Stretching and working out. And that's one thing that a lot of these top producers I'm seeing, Neil, Ed, they're all making 3, 4, 5 million a year.
Yep.
They're all getting up in the morning and they're working. I mean, Neil's 60 years old. He's lifting heavy right now.
Yeah.
He's trying to bulk up a little bit. He's like, I want this body to take me to 70 and 80 and 90.
Where it's still functional.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a walker doing that.
Exactly.
Especially if you've worked so hard to build that life, to have wealth that's going to far surpass your lifetime.
Yep.
Well, I want to be able to enjoy that shit.
Right. Right.
Like, why else am I doing this?
Yeah.
People always think it's like, oh, you exercise and all. It's like, no, man, no, it's just so you can live better.
Right.
I don't want to sit on a damn couch. I don't want to sit in a recliner. I don't want to have those kind of aches and pains that are driven by processed foods and things like that. Like, I just don't. Since you said, Neil, I was with him a couple months ago at an event, and he actually spoke. And one of the things he said was like, all of you people that came here and you're all eating all that fried food over there, but halfway through my speech, you're going to be sound asleep. He opened with this.
Wow.
He's like, your body just can't function on it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not telling you I don't eat fried food.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not telling you I'm not going to have a burger and fries. Matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I might have a burger and fry for dinner. But what I can tell you is every single thing that is productive in my life, my workouts, all my business stuff, all my clients, everything that's active in there will all be done before that happens.
Interesting.
So when you're having it at lunch at 12 and you still got 5 more, 6 more, maybe even have a 7 o'clock appointment, right? Like, exactly. Like when you're having that. Yeah, no, I'm still functioning at 100% from that 12 to 5. And when I show up to that same presentation, that listing presentation after you, that's why I'm beating you.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, the amount of stress relieved by eating right and working out is huge. And you talked a minute ago, I fuel my body.
Mm-hmm. I told you.
I fill it up, with
shift.
fuel.
Yeah, it's a word shift. I teach this all the time with all of my clients. And I'll give you a couple of them and it'll be good for the audience is when I don't eat, I fuel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. So when I go, hey, I'm hungry. I'm looking for fuel. I'm not looking to eat.
Yep.
Eat is, don't get me wrong. We're on vacation and we're going to go to a nice, I'm going to eat. You and I have had some amazing meals together. Amazing meals.
Yep.
And okay, that's when we're going to eat, but we're not going to do anything after. We're not, you know what I mean? So, but in my life on a daily basis, no, I'm going to get fuel.
Yeah.
Is that going to make me better? Is it going to keep me going? Is my energy going to be high? Whether it's going to be meeting with a client, don't they deserve me at 100%?
Right.
Hell yeah. My kids, if my daughter's coming, right, whatever, they need something. Don't they deserve me at 100%?
And as
they do.
As a parent, what are you feeding your kids for breakfast? I just watched a special on YouTube about, let's say they eat Frosted Flakes for breakfast. Sugar and...
Don't do it.
Like...
Get it out of your house. Get it out of the pantry.
Yeah,
Don't even teach them now.
Lucky Charm, like all that shit. It literally just immediately puts them on the sugar high.
Yep.
And they're driving their teacher nuts. They can't focus. They're not doing well in school. And then they crash. Nice. They're tired.
Yeah, it's bad.
And so I focused really hard on, I want to give my kid the best chance and myself.
Yep.
But of course, my kid's the best chance to do well in school and feel good. And so now we're cooking eggs, bacon, protein.
And if you feed it to them enough, they start to love it. They start to crave it. They start to ask for it.
Well, and what's interesting with me is I've started meal prepping and eating a lot more healthy. And I've gained actually almost 20 pounds since you and I went to Costa Rica together.
Yeah. No,
so I'm almost 20 pounds. And I'll go to the gym and I'll literally only eat at like 2 restaurants now for dinner. It's like it's got to be fish and sushi or something really good protein wise or some really good chicken.
Yeah.
I don't get hamburgers anymore. I'm not going to Olive Garden anymore. Like it's really good food. And it's interesting. It takes just a few mindset shifts to get there.
Yeah, it's the same thing when I talk about this. We go back to the word shift. So instead of telling yourself I need to eat, tell yourself I need to fuel and see what happens, right? See if you make better choices. And the same thing goes with workout. I never say I have to work out. I say I have to train. Because training to me is progressive.
Yeah.
A workout is like, all right, it's what everybody uses. But I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, I have to work out. I'm like, no, man, I get to train.
Yeah.
When I get in there, I get to fuel. I training my mind. I'm training my muscle. I'm training all of my body. I'm training everything. And everything is going to get that much better.
Yeah.
And that much stronger. Everything.
Yep.
Your whole world gets better. And it's not that you have to, have some crazy workout routine. I don't have anything like that anymore. Right. Because I'm so focused on other things, but it does get done. Right. I do get in there and I do train. I'm like, all right, I got to go train. Let me go get this mind and body right. So now I can go do the next thing that I want to do. But if you use those little word shifts throughout your, whatever's important to you, like, man, how it makes decision making even easier. And that's where we get in trouble, right? Is it, and that's where we get decision fatigue. Right. And the truth is, right, fatigue makes cowards of us all. When you're tired and when you've fatigued yourself and you've made all these decisions and you have all these, that's the moment that we go, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to go over here. I'm just going to do this.
Right.
But if you're constantly in that frame where it's not even a decision, because what's $1 billion operator do? He does that. Okay, let's go. Yeah. I don't have to make a decision. I just go. I just do it.
You've already reframed how you think about it.
Right. And put yourself into that position. And it puts you're building that identity.
Yeah.
Because your identity is what shapes everything.
Right.
How you see yourself is what matters the most. Because that's what's ultimately going to fuel is going to fuel your behaviors. Your behaviors are going to ultimately lead to your results. And so anything, the result, if you're not getting the result that you want, all you got to do is reverse engineer it to, okay, what am I actually doing?
Right.
Oh, I'm doing this. Well, that's why that result is coming.
Dude, I had an epiphany yesterday. I was with a gentleman who had, do you know Everbowl? So look it up. Okay. Really cool. I'll send you a gift card or something. All so it's like a Kai, and it was like a really healthy yogurt with seeds, berries.
Got it.
Really healthy and really good. Drew Brees just bought 150 locations.
I did see that. Okay.
Yeah. So I was with the owner yesterday.
Okay.
And he's taken a couple other companies to 8-9 figure exits. And he's like barely older than me. And I'm like right now struggling to like manage what I've got going on. Like right now I'm sitting in an interview and I've got like 60 emails I got to pound out tonight.
Sure.
I'm like, how is this, bro? Already exited 2 companies.
How do they do it? Yeah.
And out of boredom created Everbowl. And now Drew Brees is buying 150 locations from him. But he just simply had a mindset shift and his productivity is here. Mm-hmm. And that's what we talked about yesterday. He's like, I don't know, man. He's like, I put shit together and I knew I could go talk to this celebrity and and get some endorsements. And he just did it.
Yeah.
Because that's just what he thought of himself.
Sure. He saw himself as that. He knew that he had that, and then he just moves. And I'll say it this way to for the people watching to understand too, is somebody like that, again, when you have big goals, big ideas, a lot that has to get done, even for you, right? Is the way to get to discipline is not by pushing myself harder, you're not getting any more fucking minutes in the day. You're just not.
Right.
Discipline comes through subtraction.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're struggling with that and you have all these things, and I really start to look at my day, what is the things that I can start to subtract, right? Mm-hmm. Take away from that will allow for the things that mean the most to be there. And I'll go back to the simple thing of Frosted Flakes in the morning. I promise you this is no shit. I am a very disciplined individual when it comes to that stuff, right? And if it was in our cupboard, in our pantry right now, I promise you, wouldn't be often. It wouldn't be because I have that mental fortitude. But I promise you that there will be a moment that I know that that's in there. and then I am fatigued from decision making, or I'm tired, or whatever, then I would have a bowl of Frosted Flakes.
Yep.
There's no fun. I'm telling you, because I'm fallible. So the only possibility to make sure that doesn't happen is to subtract it.
Right.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
And now my discipline's through the fucking roof. Everyone's like, God, you're so disciplined. You eat so well. Yeah, because that's the only shit I got.
Yeah.
I don't have an option.
Yeah.
I made it not an option.
Yeah, you made it easy on yourself.
Because I'm not good enough. I would fuck that up. Yeah. I would have that bowl of cereal. Yeah. I promise.
I do the same thing with accountability. I'm like, hey, I got to get to the gym. Here's $1,000 check. Cash it if I don't. Text you a picture. That's what I did for 6 years.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't strong enough to get there on my own.
Like, shit,
I'm not a morning person. I hate getting up in the morning.
Yeah.
I hate it. Mm-hmm. And I was there by 5:30 for 6 years.
Yeah.
5 days a week.
It's amazing how we can, how again, whatever that shift is for anybody, you know?
Yeah. And you got to remove things, remove the options. You don't have Frosted Flakes in your house because you don't want to eat fucking Frosted.
Because I'll eat them.
I don't have ice cream in my house. My kids complain about, and we don't buy Lucky Charms anymore, and we're not buying Frosted Flakes anymore, and we're doing eggs and bacon and maybe some toast. Yeah, we're changing everything. We are removing those options. So, Jeremy, we're about out of time.
Yeah.
What does optimal self mean to you, and what is? Because I know you coach a lot of top producers, and you've got, you're working with Xander Fryer now, which is a huge thing for your business, but you've already worked with a lot of top producers.
Yeah.
When you take on one of these top producing, whether it's a realtor, business owner, in 30 seconds to a minute, what is optimal self, and what are you trying to accomplish with those people?
An optimal self for me, and where it all started was literally the art of becoming the best version of you. It's not somebody else's version. We play a lot on what other people think, right? Especially now in today's world with social media and everything that's around us, is that we get so caught up in all the exterior, the material things and all that kind of stuff. And you hear that all the time, but literally when I get somebody, whether they're $100 million producer trying to go to 200 million, if it's a $250 million operator trying to get to $1 billion. It all comes back down to some simple things. Is, are we being the best version of you? Who is that guy or girl? And do you know who they are? When are you at, and again, I want to use you for an instance because it was wonderful, is that, those first couple meetings is that it always came back to you being a dad, right? Because you were a single dad. Yeah. And, going through what a divorce and getting all that stuff. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, we've got $60 million projects on our plate, right? And we've got 7 other that we own and that we have to get funneled and making sure so that we have distribution so that, you know what I mean? There's all these things, but all that to be said, you at your best is one simple thing. And that's being a great dad.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's define him. What does he do? How does he act? What time does he get up?
Yep.
What does he feel his kids with? Like all those things. And here's what's interesting, right? Is that when we get all that in alignment, then all of a sudden more good stuff starts coming.
Yeah.
And then our business goes from 111 to 250 million in a matter of 6 months.
Right.
Because all these other deals, people don't realize that everything it all runs together.
Compound effect. Everything.
Because as you start working on you, all of a sudden, all these other opportunities come back. All of a sudden, all these other things. And it allows you to not focus on the negative things or the things that are holding you back, but it allows me. So working with people and getting and taking people and we've taken businesses, one of my first real estate companies was my negative $80,000 a month. They were burning through all of their capital.
Jeez. And
in 18 months, we were making $100,000 a month.
Wow.
It's $180,000 turnaround. Now, am I some magic? No. We just simplified things. Right. And we built some standards. And then all of us, including me, lived, walked, and breathed those standards.
Right.
Started with me.
Yeah.
Started with me being there. You weren't beating me to the office.
Right.
And we were going to, and again, I wasn't showing up in flip flops and board shorts. you know, I mean, it was a California place, which is not, which you still see that if you walk into some places.
Right.
I'm like, how the hell are you going to, I mean, anyways, different story. But my point is this, is that you start to eliminate some things, you build some standards, everybody starts walking the walk, everybody gets on the same page. And then all of a sudden it starts happening.
Right.
And everybody feels better.
Yep.
Not just because the company's making money, but because I'm a better me.
Yeah.
And then each one of these people get better at being them, the best version of them. Right. It's not a life in a box.
Right.
Everything doesn't work the same for everybody. Right? Because the things that work for you aren't going to work for your business partner. Got to go figure those things out. And aren't going to work for the next guy. And so optimal self is just that, self. And let's identify some things that mean something to us. Let's identify who we want to be. Because if it's not happening, we're just not there yet.
Right.
And that's a part that's hard for people to understand. When you have a guy that walks in that, you know, has everything has his own jet, has his own business, right? And he's still not there yet.
Right.
People are like, what? Get the fuck. No, because if there's other goals and maybe a different pillar of his life is lacking.
Right.
Because they don't. That's another thing I want. Anytime you know this with me, yes, you can have a fucking savage, crazy business. Yes, you can have the most loving and intimate and wonderful relationship. Yes, you can have a savage fucking body and be strong and if that's your thing. This isn't a one or the other.
Right. All
of them are possible.
Yep.
All of them.
Yep.
And it doesn't take a lot of time because none of us are getting any more of that.
Yeah.
It's matters of getting really focused on the fucking things that matter.
Yep.
And falling in love with those things and actually doing the one that really, really matters.
Right.
Because you're a better leader when you are totally immersed as being that dad, and for yourself too, getting to the gym and doing the things that matter so that you're proving to them that health and life matters and living that way. When you're that guy, the MFI Club's going through the roof, man.
Yeah. It's huge.
It's going through the roof.
And a lot of people, you talked about your hour, you're going to focus on 1 hour.
Yep.
And optimal self, when I did the coaching with you was really about focusing on just a few things of improvement. And you would teach me, okay, we're going to work on our breathing in the morning. We're going to work on hydration.
One before the other, right?
Yeah. And it's just those few things where we're going to work on working out, your meals. And so no, I think optimal self has been really great and beneficial for, people in my company, myself personally for sure. And I'm excited to see where you go. I'm excited for the next phase of optimal self. Coaching Little League all the way up to, working with multi-million-dollar top producers. But it's been a pleasure, Jeremy. Really appreciate you, man. And we'll do this again sooner than we did the last one. I think it's been 2 years since we did interviews.
I think so.
We got to do it more often, man.
I can't wait.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.